February series. We're going to be having an awesome time here. I'm always excited for an opportunity to learn and also develop myself. And so I'm excited this morning. I have some very powerful women with me, very professional women. It's a female thing today, some way, somehow, and I'm sure that it's just because it's about goal planning and strategizing. You know, women are good at that. We're just good at it. So we're going to give you a very good one this morning. And so I'll quickly give some background. Please make sure you are muted as much as possible so we don't have feedbacks coming in. Make sure that when you have a question in the middle of it or whilst the session is still ongoing, you can put it in the chat or you can raise your hand and at the appropriate time would attend to you. So I'll quickly introduce our guest speakers and then we go from there. I will start with Mary Sarah Nassali. Hi, Mary. Good to see you. Now, Mary is an experienced business executive with a demonstrated history of working in the consumer packaged goods industry. Skilled in strategy, business planning, profitable revenue growth, marketing, innovation, and corporate governance. That's awesome. Currently, she's working on the strategy and performance as a strategy and performance director for Coca-Cola Beverage Africa based in Uganda and covering Uganda, Tanzania, and Ghana. That's a very powerful one there. Using her career journey, Mary has a multifunctional qualification and she's a certified coaching tool to motivate and inspire marketplace leaders to maximize their career potential and create sustainable impact. And I'm sure this is one of such days where she's going to make a great impact in our lives. So hi, Mary, you're welcome. We'll quickly go to our next guest speaker right here in home with me, Ofosua Daaku Ammah. I got it right? We did some practice of mentioning her name behind the scenes. So Ofosua Daaku Ammah.
Yes, you did.
She's a strategy and project management professional. Ofosua is passionate, creative, and analytical person who loves to see things through. She has built her commercial acumen by working in various departments, including supply chain, marketing, sales, and project management in different multinationals in 3 countries over the last decades. In her downtime, she enjoys being a new mom, awesome, and building her own side business that allows her to indulge in her talents that often do not get used at work. That's awesome. It's very critical. It's important that we do some of these things. She believes great things happen when teams collaborate. Individuals take time to understand themselves and others better, and feedback is considered and acted upon for personal and business growth. So today we're going to be taking some feedbacks. We're going to consider some inputs. We're going to collaborate, and then we're going to get something out of this awesome guest that we have here. So Ofosua and Mary, thank you for taking up this opportunity to impact us. And thank you, organizers of the Mentoring Cafe series. This is the February session, and we're going to have so much fun learning. Now, let's go right down to business. Yeah, maybe I'll start with you, Mary. Mary, why must we set goals? Why must we set goals at all?
Thank you. Thank you, Vera. As our host, I also take this opportunity to thank the organizers, especially now, as well as the people who've taken out time just to come listen to us sharing our experience and our knowledge. I also like the point you mentioned that it's collaborative. So I encourage all participants just to ask questions, engage with us, because we are here just to share our knowledge, but we are not necessarily the authorities. You as well might have some tips and guidance that you could share with fellow participants, but with us as well.
Yeah.
So I'll give maybe 3 points why I think we should set goals. The first one is goals help give us direction. There's a famous saying of if you're on a road and you don't know where you're going, then it doesn't matter which direction you take. Yeah. So while we are out here living life in this corporate world, you need a goal just to give you some sense of direction, because you ask yourself, where am I going to go? Where am I going? Then it helps goals then give you that direction of knowing that I'm ever turning left, I'm turning right. If it's a corporate setting, what function am I aiming to work for? What type of organization am I looking to work for? And details like that. The second reason why we set goals is just to give us that motivation, the thing that drives you, so that then once you have that direction, you know I'm turning left, then you're motivated to the fact that you have where you're going, and you feel happy that you're going to get somewhere, and it also makes it like interesting, because now at least you've got a direction, you're facing left. If I'm aiming maybe to become the next head of an organization, then I know that that's what I'm aiming for. Then that always gives me the motivation to keep moving. The third point I would say is we set goals so that they help us remain focused. There's so many things you could do. There's so many things you could do. If you're in the workplace, you could say, okay, I want to go work in HR, I want to work in manufacturing, I want to work in finance. There's so many functions that you look at. But once you decide on a goal and you select which is the function that you want to target, then that would help give you that focus. Then you know I'm focused on finance. I want to become the next chief financial officer. So it helps you focus and not get distracted by then what all the other functions are doing. Or if you do look at those functions, then you're looking at them in relation to what your focus is. It's not so much that now there's something exciting in HR, I go to HR. It's more, okay, what does that exciting thing happening in HR affect what my focus is, or I want to move forward within finance? So those are the 3 points I would give.
Right, that's awesome. I'm sure that Ofosua has something to add to that, and that being our foundation, I'd want the two guest speakers to touch on it quickly.
I will simply say that to make dreams possible, like there's a saying that everybody can get a bright idea when they're in the shower, but how many people actually make it happen when they leave that room? I think we all have one thing or the other that we really want in life, and to move from just wanting to getting, I think setting goals are the right step. Otherwise, as Mary said, you'll be on the road, you're not going anywhere, there's no direction, whether you sit down, whether you get up, whether you lie down, whether you run, whether it means nothing, because you are going to nothing. But when you have a goal, it usually has to tie in with you. What do you want to achieve? And then now it becomes clear. When people are running, you know, this is not the time for me to run, I have to walk, because maybe I have a sprint ahead of me. It gives you that sense of direction. So without goals, dreams just remain dreams in your sleep, or dreams that everybody can dream, but then they move from dreams to possibilities to your reality when you have a goal.
Awesome. So the sense I'm getting from both of you is that you need to be motivated in life. You can't just have a dream and just be there. You have to be intentional about achieving that dream. You must have the end in mind, that this is where I'm getting to, and so you plan on how you get there. Because if you do not know how you're going to get there, no road can take you there anyway. You just be where you are, or you get lost in the middle of it. And then you must remain focused. So I think those are the bits on that. But now, so how do we really set goals? That will start with Ofosua. How do we set goals? How should we set goals?
So there are, for me, there are a lot of ways to go about it. I mean, how do you kill a cat? There are many. But I think you have to start with, what do I really want? Because sometimes, especially when you join, and I worked in a corporate field for quite a while, there's always a corporate, but that came about because the business decided to sit down individually too as well. You have to ask yourself, what do I really want? If it's a family goal, what does this family really want? So when you start with that, don't start with, what do I want? Oh, this is not possible. This is possible. No, just start with what do I really want? You know, there was a time I had a goal that when I had colleagues who wanted to be with the next VP, I just wanted to be able to come home, have my family at home together, eating and watching TV and phone after a work day. That was my goal. So most of my decisions in life were based around that goal at the time. So I think at any point in time, you have to ask yourself what you really want and be mindful you change as a human being. So what I wanted 10 years ago may not be the same thing I'd want 10 years from now. But start with the question, what do I really want? Or what does this group really want? And then from there, you can start breaking it down. I think we'll touch on that later. But always start, what do I really want? And as I said, there are many tools. One of the things that I love is the GROW model. It reminds me of goals too as well. So GROW is what is the goal? What do I really want? R is what is the reality? So example, I want to be $1 million model who is size 6. That's my goal. However, I look at my bank account and I don't even have 1,000. That's your reality. I am a size 60, not a size 6. That's your reality. So I like having the goal. Give yourself the space to think about the goal. Then come to what is the reality. The Ghana economy is like this. The dollar used to be this, and now it is this. You know, or I want 5 children, but I don't have a husband. Or I just look at what your reality is. Don't be shy. It's just you, right? Then the O is, what are the options to get in there? Someone said you can make, I wanted to look for a rich man to marry, I would do that. If I wanted to work and build a business, I would do that. You look at all the options available to you, available in the world, but available to you. And then you write them down. And then you ask yourself, what do you really want to do? That's a W. So I usually use that GROW model, not for all kinds of goals. I want to cook jollof rice. Okay, what's the reality? I don't have rice at home. Okay, what are the options? I can go to the market and buy rice. I can order it on Instagram. I could ask my neighbor to bring me rice. Those are, what do I really want to do? I think I want to order it on Instagram because I don't have time. You know, so those are some of the steps. There are a lot more tools, I think, but this is one of the easiest that I tend to use a lot. So let me pause here before I try and go to all the other tools I know.
That's awesome. You know, I like the way you went about it. You brought it right home to us, from the kitchen to our personal lives and into the corporate room, and that's awesome. So, Mary, I'm sure you want to add some other strategies for us. How do we set goals?
Yeah, thanks, Ofosua. I like that GROW model. It's quite simple and easy to remember, and I like how we then get to apply it in our day-to-day things. The one thing I would add on this is, for me personally, when I'm setting goals, especially, I mean, we're at the start of the year, and we are talking professional, but we are beings that have various aspects of life. So what I would add is, you can still use that GROW model, but when you're using the GROW model, you apply it to the different aspects of life. I usually look at 8 areas, but there's so many ways you can split it up. So professional, we are talking professional. So what do I want professionally or for my career? Then physically, Ofosua mentioned she wants to be a top model.
Yeah.
So what do you need to do physically to then become that top model? Then we've got a spiritual life. We all have something we believe in. Christianity is the most popular one. So if you believe in God, what are you doing? What do you want for your spiritual being or your spirit life? The 4th one is mentally, intellectually. So what are you doing to make sure your mind is always sharp, you're always aware, you're growing your mind? Because for example, and all these areas link up. If you're in the professional world and you want to become the next CFO, then you have to come and ask yourself, what does a CFO need mentally? Is it a specific program you need to do? Is it mentorship, like this mentoring cafe? Once you come to the mentoring cafe, then you're specific about the mental stimulation and what you want for your mental aspect of life. The fifth one is socially. And socially is how you spend time with yourself. These days, there's a lot of themes around self-care, personal time. Do you take time to pause and just reflect on yourself and your life? Just like the goal setting we are talking about now. Where do you find space within your day just to take time out to make sure that you're being deliberate about what you want? But also in social, there are other things. We are social beings. You've got family, you've got friends, you've got colleagues, you've got acquaintances, you've got so many other circles that in which you socialize. So what is it that you want for them? And having that deliberate intention about each of those spaces. The sixth one is financial. Yeah, Ofosua mentioned the $1 million, but if you only have 100 on your account, what is it? If that million is then your goal, then that's how you then set the goal. But now there you're specific within the financial aspect. The seventh one I would look at is the quality of life. What experiences do you want in life? Yeah. What are the experiences you want? Do you want to climb a mountain? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to, what is it you want? Yeah. Which I like because that goes back into Ofosua's grow model. What exactly do you want? And being specific about that. The last one is around purpose and vision. What's the purpose of your life? And what are you doing to make sure that your life is purposeful? Yeah. The tip I can give there in terms of purpose is always about other people. It's never about you. Yeah. So what are you doing for others? That, yeah.
I hear you.
So that your life is purposeful. So that's what I would add on in terms of the aspect of how do we set goals? Yeah, how do we set goals?
Right. That is deep. I like the way the two of you have just meshed your two ideas and it's become one big, awesome one. You know, when you got to point 4 on mentally and intellect, I was like, what else? I mean, you've mentioned it all. But you went on and you've covered so much. And the last one blew me off. Purpose of life. It's not about you, but it's about others. So it means that helping others, impacting others, it's something that it's a goal we also need to set in life. And I think I keep hearing this thing about don't go to the grave, full, go empty. So it means that you need to plan to impact lives whilst you are here. Whilst you are expecting others to impact you, bless you, you need to do the same. So we've looked at the GROW model. It says the G is what do you want? What do I want? Reality, I don't have what it takes. Reality is the R, I don't have what it takes. If you look at your bank account, if you look at the economy, it looks like it's not possible. But if you plan, you are likely to be able to achieve it. That's what Jose is trying to tell us. We'll see how. Then what are options available to me? What options are available to me? And then aspects, that's what do I want? That's a W. What do I really want? So you plan along all these lines. And this is where Mary has brought us into the various aspects, 8 different areas where we can actually have plans, set goals and strategies as to how to get there. So if you just joined us, thank you for joining us. And we are discussing setting goals and strategizing for 2023. Goal setting and strategizing for 2023. Thank you, the Mentoring Cafe, for bringing this to us. It's very critical. We just started the year. We are not too far into it, so it's not too late to set a goal. Now, we're going to go on very quickly. And the third thing we want to know is that how can we break down big goals into similar steps and actionable items? I think I'll start with Mary because she's already broken them down into 8 areas, so she can begin to tell us how to further break them down. So I'm sure you knew that was coming.
No, I was hoping you got to Ofosua first.
For real.
Right, yeah, but okay. It's a similar topic. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yes.
So how do we break down big goals into smaller steps? Yeah. Maybe before we get to that, I can just say, usually your goals have a duration. Yeah, because I want to be a model, an international model, a size 6. When do I want that by? When do I want that by? And there's 3 ways. Usually you've got a short-term goal, which is usually a year or less. Yeah. Then you've got a medium-term goal, which is usually between a year and 3 years. And then you have a long-term goal, which is 3 years, maybe 5 years, and beyond. So once you have that specific goal, maybe I could use an example of the financial one. So I want $1 million. So when do I want the $1 million by? Yeah. And if I use Ofosua's grow model, is what's the reality? What's realistic about this goal? It's probably not going to happen within a year. Maybe in 3 years I could, but maybe 5 years is the more realistic one. Yeah. If I look at probably my previous patterns and I look at what resources or opportunities I have available to myself right now. So then you break it down in the associated tasks that you need to take. So I want $1 million, but how am I going to get that $1 million? I would break it down in, I could ask for a raise. I could go to office and ask for a raise. I could save and invest. I could start doing a side business outside of my formal employment. And then once you go into that business, then you start getting alternatives. What can I do? Can I buy and sell and do some trading? Can I create something? Ofosua told us about how she expresses her creativity. So are you creative and you could create something? So then once you have all those listed out, you then put them in order. What is easier for me to do now? What do I need a month to do? Maybe if I want to do trading, I then need to do some research over that trading, which will take me a couple of days or it will take me a couple of months just to get that information. So once I've listed all the tasks, put them into a sequential order. What comes first, yeah, and what comes last? And how do I build it so that it is easier to get me closer to my goal? And once you've done that, then it's about taking action. It's about taking action, yeah. Because I've come across a number of people who we get the dream, we write it down, we write the goal, but we are never taking the action. We are never taking the action. In January, everyone is very optimistic. They're like, oh, by the end of the year, I want to lose 10 kilos. But what are you going to do today? I always ask people, what are you doing today that is going to get you to that goal? Because we always assume, oh, I've still got a whole year. But now it's February. Then you're like, oh, I've still got 10 months. Then it's March. Then it's June. The action has to start today. So for me, break it down and get to something that you can do today that will help you get to that goal.
Right. So to sum it all up, what you're just trying to say is that you have to go step by step. You can't achieve it all in a day. Rome, they say, was not built in a day. And you just have to get the foundation right, what you want. Once you get your grow model ready, you have your 8 areas well segmented, you begin to look at them. What is it that I want to achieve within this first year or 3 years or the long-term goal? And then you begin to break them down on the various lines. So we'll go to Ofosua. I'm sure she has something more to add to it on what we can do to set, to break down our goals.
Yeah. Thank you, Vera. So, yes, I agree 100% with Mary. In fact, if you don't start with a SMART goal, and I think some of us who know specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, it's hard to even break down. Let's say I said I want to be rich. I mean,
that's enough of the time.
But I want to be yes. I want to be rich. It's not even measurable. What does rich mean to you? Is it $100,000 or 100,000 cedis? Is it $1,000 or it's 1,000 euros? You know what I mean? So if you can have something that you can measure, it's specific, then it's smart. Then from there you can break it down. Okay, I want to have $100,000 in my account by December. As Mary said, we all have these optimistic goals in January. Some of us go for goal setting camp. Some of us join a webinar like this and like, yo, I'm going to be 100,000. But what are you going to do every quarter? Break it down to smaller things. Okay, 100,000. That means that maybe by June I should have say 50,000. Okay, then let's break it even further into some other quarters. We've done half of the year. Then we have maybe 25,000. Okay, that means January, February, March, I should have 25,000. I have 0 now. How? Okay, that's not realistic. So let's make it 5,000 and then spread the rest out. Okay, what am I going to do? As Mary said, am I going to ask for a raise at work? Will they give me a raise? Am I going to start a business? Am I going to invest in trading in Forex? Do I even have the skills? Okay, I don't have the skills, but I'll ask A, B, and C how to do it. Maybe you've done a bit of research. It's middle of February already. So you know that you have to maybe have a week or 2, 3 hours every day. This is how I'm going to. So you have to break it down. As I said, how do you eat a whole tilapia with your banku? You eat it a morsel at a time. So you take a bit and you eat it. So you have to break it down. And what helps me is that if I have a year's goal, I break it into quarters. Every quarter, this is what I'm going to achieve. Then I'll break that quarter into months. At the end of January, I knew exactly what I wanted to achieve. Then I'll break it into weeks, because I know every week, and we'll talk about accountability partners. I'll share an experience in this
sure, yeah, we'll come to that.
This week, yes. So that every time you have building blocks, and you can even tell that this goal is now a bit too much because of this situation or that situation. So this is how I'm going to rephase it. It's always easier to edit than create. So you also have to sit down and take your time and plan. How do I want to achieve it? So you can break it down according to outcomes or time. So what I did with what I explained was a time. Yes, outcomes or times. So maybe I want to be I want to be able to speak French with someone who speaks French and not just say je m'appelle français, je ne comprends pas. That's where I can get to. You want to be able to have a conversation in French. So you say, okay, to have a conversation in French, I maybe should be able to buy foods, things from the markets. You have outcomes. They are not time bound. So when you achieve them, they move to the next outcome. But others too are time bound. Within this time, what should I see? The outcomes is, this is the outcome. So how long will it take me? It always comes back with the outcome and the time. But when you think of it that way, sometimes you don't have a time in mind, but okay, to trade in Forex, I must have this knowledge to this level. That's an outcome. How long will it take me to get that knowledge? 6 months, 3 months, a month? Then you can work accordingly. So that's how you break it down. Otherwise, like Mary said, you would say it into the air in January and December, you have nothing. And trust me, you wouldn't be the only one. There are years I've done that before. And probably this year, some may happen if I don't break those goals down into time-bound aspects or outcome aspects.
Okay. So participants, you're not alone. We all struggle sometime along the line, but we must keep focus like we started. No matter what it takes, keep focus. No matter how little it feels, keep moving. I think I came across a post that says that whatever you do, keep moving. Whether you're crawling, whether you're running, whether you are jumping, whatever it means, keep going, and then you definitely get to your goal or to the finish line. But I want us to get a bit practical with this setting of goals. So let's assume that I'm sure our participant here, being mentored and all of that, one of them may have a goal of, I want to change my job, or I want a promotion, or I want to write a certification exam. If you can pick one, maybe Ofosua, and then address it. Maybe the person wants to change a job. Typically, what should they do? What should they do? We've gone through this crisis of the Great Recession and everything, and people have lost jobs. People are looking for other jobs, and a whole lot. So I'm sure that there are a number of people who may be wanting to change jobs. What should they do in terms of if that's one of your goals for this year?
I love this question because I've wanted to change jobs before. I also love this question because I've been jobless before. So I can speak to it very much.
I seem to know who to send the question to. Yay!
So you start with, what do I want? Don't be afraid to dream. I think there was a time I wanted to change jobs. There were many jobs I could do, but the particular kind of job that I wanted. So what do I want? I want to be a project manager in an engineering firm. That is it. What do you want? Don't sell yourself short, please. Don't sell yourself short with your own goals. It's your own goals, for crying out loud. So put it there. Even if it's unbelievable, you put it there. I want to be a project manager in an engineering job. What is my reality? I have an engineering degree, but I may not have any project management experience. Okay. So Then you research to get what your options are. Some of the options you may know top of mind. I have to start applying for project manager jobs in engineering. But do you know the qualifications for project management jobs? Do you know anybody who has a project management job in engineering? Ask those questions so you can get your options. So do a bit of research, right? And don't make research scary. Research is as easy as Googling, how do I get a project management job in Ghana? Or what are the skills needed for a project management job? Or you're an accountant. I am an accountant. I want to become a project manager engineering. There's a lot of options that you can get. Then you start asking friends. Do you know anybody who is a project manager engineering? You speak with them. How did you get your job? Where do you start? It gives you some context. Then you can start looking at what applies to you, right? Somebody has a degree, but somebody also went through with experience. Somebody got professional certifications like the PMP, PMI. There are a number of them, Prince 2. And then how do you even expose yourself to the engineering field? If say you are like me, and you are in FMCG and now in finance, how do you get yourself into that field? So you look at those options as well, and then start applying. Please, this is about getting the job. Apply. The job, sometimes there are a few stories and they exist and it could happen to you, but it may not happen to you. It doesn't happen to everybody. I know someone who was applying, sending CVs, about 10 CVs every day, and this person worked, and they were tailored CVs every single day to different companies. Somebody did it blindly. Another person, and this I got from my mentor, he knew a friend who actually had a chart. He would have the job he applied to, when he applied to it, if they've given him. So you know if you're making progress.
Yes.
When I used to send a lot of CVs a day, I was just sending them. Then I'm like, I've applied to this job before. So if I had a chart like that, then it would have been helpful, you know. And then some of them also, you find out, are all these jobs advertised? Some of the roles I've ever wanted, they are not advertised a lot. Usually it's usually someone inward who moves. So you start asking companies that you'd like to work with. So you know someone there, how do you get such a job? Make a few calls and you'll be surprised. Sometimes your network is bigger than you realize. Just make that call. You're like, oh, I don't know anybody in finance. Yes, you don't know anybody, but you know people. Call them. Do you know someone in finance I can speak with?
Right.
So the thing is, yes, definitely, what is the goal? Be very, very clear. When you start finding out the options and realizing that you don't get there quickly, what are the other ways you can get there? Example, you want to be a project manager in engineering. You do not have engineering experience. You do not have project management experience. If you get a project management role in FMCG, or let's say the breweries, that has to do with, I don't know, marketing. Is it something that aligns with where you want to go? Is it something that can be a stepping stone? Why not try it out and see? I know some people who wanted to get into medical school, they didn't get it. Okay, let me try pharmacy and probably get back. They get to pharmacy like, oh, I love this even more. So don't limit yourself, but be very clear about what you want and try. Send the CVs, ask people, make a few calls. Hit me up. I mean, right now you have our details from the mentoring cafe. Just ask them, hit me up. Let's have a conversation. Ask people, and then tell yourself, what will I do? Will I just focus on engineering jobs? And that you make it. It's not wrong. Make it your focus, and you set up your LinkedIn job alerts. I want engineering jobs, project management, or do I want to build my project management skills first and then go into engineering? Then you set up your LinkedIn profile that way. Set up your job alerts on different job boards that way. When you're asking people questions, you don't, oh, I want a job. Then they have to ask you what kind of job. No. You want a job, be specific. I want a job in engineering. I want a job in project management. In fact, I'd really want a job in project management engineering. However, I'm open to these options. Then people can start throwing things your way. And if they don't mind you, life is hard and it's busy. Once in a while, send a message. Hey, do you have any feedback on the job in engineering that I asked about? Yes, no. There are so many ways to kill a cat, but as I said, for me, the grow model has helped me a lot in my life. What is your goal? What is your reality? What are the options? And what will you do? What do you want? And what will you do? So get off your behind and sit behind that PC, rewrite your CV, find out what you need to do, and put in the effort and do it. And the nice thing is that you keep learning along the way. 100% of 0 is 0. If you don't try, you have no clue. You are still where you are. But if you try and fail, you can tell, maybe the CV is too long, or maybe it's too short.
Yeah.
So just keep going. I think I won't jump too ahead. But yes, if you want a job in engineering or any specific job, please start with your goal. Be very clear, your reality, the options are available to you, and what you really want. Remember, like the engineering job, they can go straight and look for that and keep going, or they can build their capabilities in engineering and then come back to project management, or vice versa. But make sure that no one makes you feel bad about your own goals. Just make sure that you keep at it. 100% of 0 is 0.
Yeah. And one thing I picked from you, which I also picked from my mentor, was that identify the industries or the companies that you went to work for and just keep hitting at it one day, and then prepare, brand yourself, get ready, and the opportunity might just come up. Yeah, right. So Mary, do you have something you want to add to what she has said in terms of preparing? Let's say you want to write a certification exam. I mean, she mentioned it as part of the preparation or options that available to you, but if somebody wanted to do such a thing, and writing professional exams is not like a walk in the path. It can be daunting. So what would you advise that they do practically?
Yeah, thanks, Vera, and thanks, Ofosua. I really liked the example you gave. And just to build on Ofua's point around being clear on what you want. There are so many people who come and tell you, oh, I want to change my job. And you ask them, so what do you want? Anything.
That one is sad. It's so sad. I think I encountered that about a week ago. I said, no, please don't say that.
And they're like, anything, yes. So and then I realized it takes us back to why do we need to set goals? They help us clear on exactly what we want. So you're not going to be the people who are going to respond anything. You're going to be specific. I want to be a project manager in engineering in a financial institution. Then it even helps the people who are helping you try to open doors and create for you networks, connect you to people, sell you. Because if I am going to talk to Ofosua about you, Vera, I could tell her, I know Vera, and I know she's looking for something specific. I'm not just going to call her and tell her, oh, there's this Vera, she's looking for a job, she can do anything, yeah? Especially in this season where we are, there's just too much information. Everyone can say they can do everything. The better clarity and the better support that you can get. The specific example you've given me is around the certification, but it still follows the same format. One of the certifications I have is SCCA, and I'll use that as an example. First, you're clear about what's the certification you want, but is the certification the goal, or is the goal something else for which you require the certification? Yeah. But that is also specific, because I can't say I want to be a project manager in engineering for a financial institution, and then I'm becoming a certified marketing. Yeah? So it has to be aligned to what exactly you want in terms of your profession, or maybe I want to be a certified nurse and I'm passionate about the medical profession. So it has to align with something else. So same model that Ofosua has given us. Do your research. What's the best way to get the certification? There's online courses now. There's face-to-face courses. There's free tools that you can use on LinkedIn where you can get access to free learning certificates and all that. The good thing also about these certification programs, they have created modules and spread themselves out. So you don't have to go do the full certification all at once, unless if that's your goal and you've got the resources and the capability to do that, but you can do it in phases. You can say, for example, SCCA has got 14 exams that you've got to do. You don't have to go sit all the 14 in 1 year. It would even break you. And also certification usually is around you applying what it is you're learning. So once you spread it out and phase yourself, it allows you to be able to take it a one bite at a time. And then you plan it. You're like, okay, if it's 14 exams I've got to do, maybe I'll do 2 exams a year. Maybe I'll do 1 exam a year. If you do 1 exam a year, it's going to take you 14 years. If you do 2 exams a year, it's going to take you 7 years. Then you do the plan. Then it's easy for you once you're engaging with, if now I want to get into the finance profession and I'm being asked, do you have the certification? It is easy for me to then say, I am halfway through and I've got 2 years to go. Yeah, I have those details. I know what it is. Certification also requires finances. I spoke about the area of financing. So now when you're doing your goals around your finances, you will then be able to know, I now need also extra finances to support my certification. Or you could go to your organization and say, I'm just a clerk. If I get certification, I can become an officer. Could I be sponsored to make sure, because then the benefit is coming back to the organization. You could apply for scholarships. So there's all those alternatives you only get once you're clear about what you want and you go out there and find research. I also like the point of Ofosua mentioned around ask anyone. We say we don't know people who work in the bank, but you're part of a fellowship at church. Do you know what those members of that fellowship do? Just ask them, do you know anyone in a bank? And you might find out one of them is actually the head of HR at one of the biggest banks, maybe EcoBank, and they're looking for a project manager. But they already have that connection with you. They know they trust you because you serve with them in church. So then that becomes the open door. Yeah, I think I'll just pause there.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm happy I gave you that chance because you open it up on various levels, particularly even the fact that you need to plan the finances. Yes, you want to do it. I remember before I did my first degree, I had to work a bit and I kept, looking for money to go. And I thought that was the only option I have to save. And 1 year came to pass. I hadn't saved anything. 2 years. And then I said, no, I must take this step. So I practically took the step, picked the forms, and the good thing was that I got sponsorship from my company. So you see, we're also struggling. So sometimes you need to do all of those options. Yes, right. So we move on very quickly. We've talked about setting smart goals using the grow model. We've talked about all of the 8 areas to look at. But do we just have them in the air? Do we document them somewhere? Are there, a tool we can use to track? What do we do? How do we visualize? Any tips on visualizing our goals? Any tips on visualizing our goals? Who would want to take it, please? Any one of you that want to take this one? Ah, la, la, la.
I would volunteer on this one because it's actually something I do on the side,
Awesome.
helping people visualize their goals. So, let me just tell a story of a lady I know, a very, very ambitious lady, and she had an unfortunate start with her education. Unlike some of us, she didn't really get the best of foundations. She wrote her final exams and didn't pass, but she so wants to be a nurse. So wants to be a nurse. I mean, if I've ever seen someone want something, then I'll easily call her. But there's someone who hasn't passed her exams yet. So what we did was, I asked her why. Why do you want to be a nurse? And she was very, very passionate, telling me a story of a time when her mother was ill. I went to the hospital and she just admired the way the nurses took care of her and her mother. Okay. And then what does she need to do? She has to study hard and write the exam. Almost every morning she has breakfast. So what did we do? We took a picture of her and then drew her in a nurse uniform. So let's say you see me now. We put her in a nurse uniform with the little hat. Forgive me, I'm not a nurse, so the little watch, those things, and then put on the mark, I will not give up on my dreams. So if she's to use that mark every morning, it's in her face. So in the morning, she's probably thinking about spending all her time sweeping the house. Like, oh, I'm not giving up on you. Okay, I'll do 30 minutes sweeping, 30 minutes learning. Visualizations of goals is very important. First of all, the motivation. Why? It's very important. And the outcome. What's the picture of success look like? For this lady, it's her in a uniform. I mean, she's past the stage where you do career day and walk to school in a nurse. This is like this. If she's wearing a nurse uniform now, she's a scammer or she's real. And definitely she doesn't want to be the scammer nurse. So you see yourself having achieved that goal, right? This lady who I gave an example, I want to be a $6 million model, size 6. What would it feel like? $1 million model. That means that she will see herself walking down some runways in latest dresses, because that's what models do, you know. Her walk would change. She'll probably wear some certain kind of heels. And $1 million means that she can afford a vacation in Hawaii, afford a vacation in the Kakum Park and its environs, and then also go to Dubai all in 1 year, you know. So suddenly, how does she remind herself? She'll probably say Dubai every year. Write it on a simple piece of paper and paste it. I think there's a verse in the Bible, I don't know it well. So write down the vision, make it visible. It's important.
Habakkuk
Yes,
3, thereabout, I think. Yeah.
it's very important to see it every day or tell yourself every day, you know. When I had that vision of my family first, it informs the kind of jobs that I take. It doesn't always mean that I will get the highest paid job. It doesn't always mean that I will have time, but it always is before me. So when I start even setting boundaries, you know, at work, I close at 5, or if it's important, it goes to this day, or if it goes beyond this, how I manage it. First of all, be clear about your motivation. It's very helpful. If you just want to be rich and then 1 million, why? Because everybody was rich and 1 million. All you do with the money, what's motivating you? And then second of all, have a way to have it in your face. I mean, aside having accountability partners, which we'll talk about, have it somewhere, have it on a picture, on your desk, on a mug, have it on your phone screen. I mean, some of us don't use our phone screens well enough. Have it on your phone screen. $1 million, size 6. Then when you are about to take your phone and order that deliciously fatty rich thing, and they look at it and see one size 6, you're like, size 6. Okay, let's order salad. And you write it there. Because we have to get to size 6.
That's a brutal one.
I mean,
You gotta be brutal.
Visualizing, I mean, people do it in different ways. I mean, a lot of people have heard of vision boards now. But don't be limited. Oh, I don't have a cardboard and a sticky note. No, please don't be lazy. And let's just be factual. Be serious about your goals. Put it on your phone screen. Put it on a book. Like, find a way to put in your face. Get someone to remind you every day.
Right.
And always be careful about your why, because when you lose sight of your why, the goals are meaningless. Always have your why, and then have a way to have it in your face. I mean, for visualizing, there are many options. That's why I'm being a bit broad. But yes, as simple as writing on a piece of paper and sticking it where your bed is, or having it on a mug that you use every morning, or even your phone screen. Make use of the surfaces around you to remind you every day, because sometimes the life happens and you will forget. And sometimes life happens and your why just vanishes. Why brings you back to your goal very strongly. So don't forget that your why, and have a way to have it in your face in a way that's meaningful to you. I would just say that very important. A picture in a frame may not be meaningful to me, but maybe my phone screen would. Someone's phone screen is just where they see the clock. They don't see anything else. However, having it on their bed is important, or having it in a tool that they use is important, or having it as a t-shirt that they wear proudly is important. So know what is meaningful to you and have that goal there. Let it feature there. Let me speak. Let it be there some. Let it feature there. Let it be in your face.
Right. I'll quickly go to our chat room and see what's happening there. I have Jemima Randy Kofi. I hope I got it right. He says, hello, the volume is very low. I hope it's okay now, Jemima. Let's know. The volume was very low for her then. And Nat says that we set goals to help us remain focused and to provide directions. Goals help us to remain focused. I mean, I'm sure that our guests are keenly following us and they are making, comments on that. Derek says that the growth model, he's excited about it. Now, Adokaile Amufa, our lead mentor, says that goal, reality, options, what do you want to do? That's the growth model, just recapping it for people. Set your goals across all aspects of your life. Just as Mary had quickly mentioned, somebody was recapping them. And what experiences do you want in life financially? What do you want? What is your purpose in life? Those are some of the questions. And Jude, my Kessa is running away from me. Okay, so have the SMART goals. for those who may be joining us, as we go through this, these are some of the things we've talked about previously, and people were just recapping it in there. So I'm sure it'll be helpful to you. So have a SMART goal: be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Break your goals into quarters, weekly, monthly, and so on and so forth. If you are having issues with the volume of your, okay, that was supposed to help our colleague who could not hear us. Then we have NS who says, thank you, Mary, Ofosua, Vera, and all the organizations. This is brilliant. Now says, be clear about your motivation for the goals you are setting. All we are saying, don't be lazy. That is from Jude. All right, so let's move on very quickly. And unless, of course, Mary, you want something to add, maybe a minute or two to visualizing your goals, just a minute or two, and then.
Yeah, I just want to add 2 points because I know Ofosua is keen to tell us about accountability.
I knew you had 2 points, so let's go.
Yeah. I wanted to give a practical example. I've got a vision board. I printed it out on a small piece of paper. I've got it on my phone, and then I printed out on a small piece of paper, and I put it on in front of my mirror, on my mirror. So just to support what Ofosua is saying, put it where you're going to see it at least every day. Yeah, at least every day, even if I'm not looking at the specifics of what's on that vision board. Okay, it's a small paper. People say board and assume it's this big, but I just used an A4 paper, so it's just that small. Even if I'm not looking at the specifics, subconsciously, I'm reminded of what is on there. The point I wanted to add on is, once in a while, try and do it every day, but maybe not every day. Ask yourself, what am I doing today that is helping me get to that goal?
Closer to my goal, yes.
Yeah. Anytime you get to look at it, you ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing today just to get me closer? It will remind you about being deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it that I must be doing as well? Or what is it that I am doing that is moving me away from my goal so that I can keep focus? Yes. Right. So Mary can go ahead. Ofosua, we are in your turn. Accountability. The importance of accountability. The benefits of accountability. How do we partner so that we can stay on track? Over to you.
Let me try and rein myself in on this one because I am so passionate about it.
Okay.
Not because it's attractive. Let me just say it's because it works, for crying out loud. Like, it so works. I am where I am today because I had accountability partners. In fact, when I started my side business, I realized that if I do not get accountability, this thing will go nowhere. So I actually paid and joined a group of women who were holding themselves accountable. And we meet every month to hold ourselves accountable. I paid because I knew that if I don't do this dream of being a sidepreneur is going nowhere. And the kind of business I wanted to build, I needed to fund it. So remember what Mary said about finances. How are you going to fund your goals? This lady who was talking about being a nurse is now thinking of ways. She's good at cooking, but she doesn't want to be a caterer. However, she has plans to cook food and sell to people who don't have the time to make healthy meals for their family. That way she can put money aside for the future. I would want to work so I can fund the kind of gifts and items and the research that I need to do to achieve what I want. However, if I trust myself alone, it doesn't work. Yes, you can be a highly motivated individual. There are people like that. Let's not deny that. I tend to be highly motivated only when somebody is chasing me. So if my boss is going to ask me, I'll be highly motivated. If it's just me, I may stay in bed. So you have to find someone who will get you out of that bed. Or I can do it, I can do it. You know, sometimes it's even harder when you have a lot of things you can do and do well. You can easily become lazy. And I'll use that word very strongly because sometimes we feel laziness is someone in bed all day. It's just someone not achieving their goals when they can. With accountability, I really want to say get the right motivation. The reason why I paid was if I got it for free, I would even take the classes seriously. I would take the session seriously. And then now when I started getting the benefits, even when it reached a point where I didn't have to pay, I knew the benefits and I was taking it seriously. Get someone you respect enough. It's very important. If you are very, very free and easygoing with your sister, and she tells you to do the chores or tells you to clean your room, and you're like, I won't do it, she cannot be your accountability partner. I mean, she's your sister. She doesn't have to be your accountability partner. But if you know this is your sister, she will call you out. Like this thing that you did it when you were 4. Stop it. And you know, like, okay, I'll sit up. Then your sister is your perfect accountability partner. So always find someone you respect enough. Sometimes respecting enough doesn't help. Sometimes you have to find someone you can pay. And I've done that before. In fact, it worked so well for me that I made a side business out of it. Now there are people who call me, they give me a few CDs every week, and then we say, what are your goals? Where are you? Why didn't you do it? Because I've seen the benefits. So back to the thing on motivation. You can get an accountability partner and even call yourself AP, and give yourself funds, but you can achieve nothing if you don't have the right level of motivation. The person must also be committed to you and you to the person. So if that is wavering, some accountability partners will last just a month. Some will last for what will push them. Let's say you both wanted to go into food and you're both motivated by food. Then suddenly you want to go to a professional certificate. They may not follow up as much. It's okay. It's not like they don't like you. Don't take it personally. Just make sure that you are finding someone who's motivated enough to help you drive your dreams. It doesn't mean they have to be interested. They just have to be motivated enough to help you drive your dreams. For me, for my clients, I'm motivated because they've paid me. I don't want anybody going and say that they paid me money and I didn't achieve anything. So that's my motivation. Others, it's the interest they have in you. They love your dream. They want your dream to happen. And always make sure that you respect the person enough. And you're also not too afraid of them too, because now you tell them what they want to hear and still not get the job done. So find that balance. But even if you're a motivated individual, and I must confess, there are people who are like that. Even if now is giving me fans in the chat, I'm going to close it before I get distracted. She was once my accountability partner, and we got some of the things happening in the mentoring cafe, and she really helped me with mine too at that time. Even if you're highly motivated, there are days that are bad, and your accountability partner will be there for you, either to scold you up, encourage you up, or just say, you know what, you're really having a bad time. Relax. Let's look at this next week. I've had accountability partners who lost parents. At that time, wasn't time for me to be policing them. It was my time to say, like, look, don't be too hard on yourself. In a month, I will be here and we'll pick up your goals again. Go and grieve and support your family properly. So there are bad days, and not all bad days are days we can conquer. Some bad days will get us down. Remember the song, lean on me when you're not strong. I'll not attempt to sing it just in case my voice fails me today.
You
I'll be
see?
your friend. I'll help you carry on. That's what some of the things. It's for it won't be long. I will also need someone else to help me. So basically, if you really want to achieve your goals, make yourself accountable to someone else who may not even have had the exact interest in your goals, but at least has some commitment. And don't take it personal. I think people lose out on accountability partners because they're harboring too much and it didn't work and the person didn't like me and the person chose their husband over me. Like, goodness, get over yourself. It happens.
It won't work that way. Yes, it's life.
Focus on your goal, not on the things around you, what you want to achieve. And then you realize that there's some people who hold you accountable better for different things. I love what Mary said about the different aspects. There's some people, they'll hold you accountable spiritually. They'll never ask you about your corporate job, never ask you about your certificates, never ask you, they'll ask you, have you prayed today? That is your spiritual accountability partner. So you can have one who's good for life in general, but sometimes know what you really want and know, is this person the right person to be an accountability partner? You know, this friend will always eat trophy and sweets and things with you. They are not your exercise and nutrition accountability partner. They are probably your relax and have fun accountability partner because you're too hard on yourself. So I will pause here. I think Mary also has a lot on this. I'd love to hear it. Mary, I've been taking notes, like crying out loud. I'm adding them to my
I am picking so much. Mary, don't worry, we'll tell you what trophy is in case you don't know, and all of those joining from everywhere that don't know what trophy is. We'll show you after here.
I
Right.
want to take
It's a juicy, spicy delicacy.
Yeah. And I think
right. Did I hear you say sidepreneur?
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Okay, so we'll meet you in the corner. You have to explain further. Now, so I think at the end of the day, what Ofosua is trying to tell us that don't be the jack of all trades and master of none. Make sure that whatever motivates you, whatever you want to make money out of, whatever you want to make a life out of, just make sure that you are focused and you have an accountability partner. Mary, over to you, please.
I'll just add one point. You've got to be honest with yourself and with your accountability partner. I've tried to support some people sometimes about being accountability partners. They will tell you they've done something, but based on experience, you will notice that they are not being honest. Yeah. So apart from the respect that Ofosua has talked about, you've got to be honest to build that trust. Even when you haven't taken the action, be honest, because then the accountability partner will be able to help you and help you make sure that that you keep moving, rather than you lying to yourself and lying to the accountability partner. Right. Then sometimes you start even missing the sessions because you're feeling guilty and you're feeling ashamed. You'd rather go and say, you know, this week I was being lazy, like Ofosua has told us. You be open and say, this was a lazy week, or I'm struggling with this. Like, I also like the point Ofosua made around having compassion. You're like, you know, I'm struggling. Maybe they're your spiritual accountability partner and you're struggling professionally. So you can go to them and say, you know, I'm struggling in the professional aspects and I'm therefore dropping the balls in this other aspect. Yeah. And then together you can be able to brainstorm a couple of solutions if they are in position to do that for you. Yeah.
All right. Okay, quickly. Let me remind our participants.
I just want to jump here because it's...
Go ahead, Ofosua, yeah. Go ahead, please.
I want to jump in very quickly on what Mary said about being honest. Remember, with accountability partnership, it is not comfortable. It's not. It's not supposed to be insulting and disrespecting. No, don't get me wrong. But just the sheer discomfort of telling them that I did not do it or I did not do it enough. Remember, there's purpose in that pain. There's purpose in that shame. And that's why accountability partners work. Because if I know that every week or every month when I speak with my accountability partner, every day when she checks in and I say, I haven't done it, it doesn't mean it will motivate you to do it and do it well. So don't take those uncomfortable moments for granted. Don't avoid them and start lying. And then before you know it, you are not doing it. Right. Sometimes the honesty is you have an account and you realize I'm chasing the wrong goal. I really am. Every day you're not doing every day. Like, is it because I am lazy or is it because I really think I should be doing something else? And that's what the benefits of having accountability partner. There's clarity and there's honesty. If you have an accountability partner you are lying to, please repent. It's just a waste of everybody's time, including yours. But when you start telling the truth, luckily, one of the corporate institutions I worked with, they brought a dietitian, and every month I had to go and see her and tell her that I will go and say, this month I've been bad.
Oh, you've been cheating
about it. I've been cheating and cheating. And then what we did was we figured out that we'll create a cheat day. So yes, I really want my coffees, I really want my sweets, I really want... So the whole month I would do what she said. But on this particular day, you
go all out.
Hey, goodness. When I think about it, like, what was I doing to my body? So, work with someone you respect. Work with someone you can be honest with. You should remain honest to. Work with someone you can collaborate with, because it's not about they having the answers or you having the answers. It's about the two of you coming up with answers together. And be kind to yourself, but don't be lazy.
Yeah. I think this accountability bit is very deep and is very important, okay? It's something that would help us to achieve our goals, not just having it written everywhere, not just having it being smart and all of that. If you don't have that, it is likely that you can still walk through the year, walk through, several years without achieving anything. So it's something that for me, I've taken very seriously, and I'm going to have to do that. And one thing you said is not a comfortable relationship. basically. It doesn't have to be abusive. It doesn't have to be anything, but it's just not a comfortable one. And so that's something that we have to take with us. Just to remind our participants very quickly, please keep your questions coming in. If you want to, ask your questions by yourself, you can also raise your hand and we'll give you that opportunity. Now we move on very quickly. Maybe I'll start with you, Mary. How to anticipate and overcome obstacles that may arise when working towards your goals. Yes, you are tempted to lie. You know, you are cheating like Ofosua was doing. How do you overcome them?
Yeah. So I like this point very much. There's even a book called "The Obstacle Is the Way." Those who love reading, reading is one of my passions. And
get one of those.
I already have a book for reference. In my theory, there's only 3 obstacles that we always face, or barriers, or whatever you come in, whatever. And once we can identify them, then overcoming them becomes easy. The first one is time. Everyone will always say, I don't have time. Where am I going to find time to do all this? Yeah. But now we are talking about goal setting and being strategic about our goals. We are now clear on where we are going. We've got an accountability partner who's guiding us. We've looked at all the options and we are very clear. So then remain focused. Yeah. If you're clear that you want to become a head of finance in a financial institution, then if someone is inviting you and it's a networking event, but they've got models there and it's about fashion designing versus going to read for your certification, you have the time. Time is one of the limited resources, and it's one of those things where we all have the same. Yeah, we all have the same time. Ofosua has the same time, and she's able to look after her family. She's able to do her job. She's able to do the side business. She's able to do accountability partnering. How is she doing it? She's focused. She's only focusing on these 3, 4, 5 things, and she's not getting distracted by other things. So let's be clear about our time. Yeah, we only have 24 hours. If you sleep 8 hours, travel, you work 8 hours, there's that extra 8 hours. If you travel 2 hours to and from work, then you've got 4 hours. So what is it you're doing within those 4 hours? Even if it's just 1 hour a day, 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, just to look at your goal and ask yourself, what is it that I can do in these 10 minutes that is going to help me get closer to achieving my goal? Yeah. The second obstacle we face is money. I don't have money. Where am I going to get the money? When will we get money? And all that. And we've spoken about money a bit before. Money has 3 aspects. You make the money. So ask yourself, how am I making money? We looked at all the options. Ask for a raise at work, find a side gig, beg for the money. There's all options. Yeah. So consider all your options and then start acting towards them. Once you make the money, the first thing you have to do is save before you spend. The Christians know we tithe first to give God thanks who has provided for us. But then the first thing is save before you spend. So how much of your income are you saving before you spend? Start where you are with what you have. Even if it's 10 shillings out of 100, even if it's 5 shillings out of 100, just build that habit of saving. Then the last thing is then you spend. So you have to look at your expenses. What are you spending your money on? Are you the person who is always having the latest iPhone, the latest iPad, the latest laptop, buy the latest car, but you want to go get a certified to become the chief financial person? Yeah. So how are you spending? Do you have a budget? Are you making sure that you're living within your means? The third obstacle or limitation we have is fear. We are scared to take the step. We are scared. What if I get the job? What if I don't get the job? What will Ofosua say? What will Vera think? What will this? We are scared of ourselves. We are scared of others. We are scared of success. We are scared of failure. So for there's also a book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Yeah?
Do it anyway.
So the fear is not going to go away. Just feel it, because remember, you're already clear on what goal it is. You're clear on the actions you're going to take. The fear is going to come. When it comes, you're like, I'm feeling the fear, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm clear about it. I committed to my accountability partner. I know it is getting me to my vision or my goal of what I want to achieve. So I am taking the action.
Oh Lord, how I feared the first time Mofa asked me to do, this hold the webinar for the mentoring session. I so feared. But when she told me, my body said, oh yes, I'll do it. and that really set me off, and I'm so excited that I accepted that. Thank you now. We have Ahmed, he's raised his hand. I'm sure he has a question for us. So Ahmed, if you can unmute yourself, or if somebody can unmute him so he can ask his question.
Okay.
Great.
First of all, I would like my name is Ahmed. I would like say 3 years. I've actually been setting goals. I mean, maybe at the beginning of the year, and then at the end of the year, you realize that, oh, everything went into the air. I mean, nothing being achieved. And what I realized that actually for instance, if you have, say, a goal for maybe your professional aspect, say maybe you want to work on this job, or maybe you want to acquire the certification and work on this, and then at the same time you have related to the your professional right, but kind of like a side something that you would like to also engage. How do you prioritize these two things to make sure at the end of the day, perhaps at least you have some results?
So who would want to take it for us, please? Any one of you can take it.
I'll let Ofosua take it because it links into the next section we're going to talk about.
Links into the next prioritization. Yes. So how do you prioritize? First of all, you can be anything you want to be, but most of the time you can't be everything at once. That's something that someone told me years ago and is very helpful. I can still be everything I want to be, but sometimes I can't be everything at once. So what really helps me with prioritization is, first of all, having the goal, right, helps. And that's what Mary mentioned, that you want to be a finance, say, manager or leader, and they've invited you to a modeling session. When you can go and do your certificate, it's easy, right? But how are you able to tell that that was more important? So if, say, I'm using her same example, you wanted to be a finance guru, and there are certifications you need to do as part of the things that will lead you to that goal, and you've been invited to a modeling networking session, it has nothing to do with your goal. So when you look at, there's something called the Eisenhower quadrangle. It's urgent and important, urgent but not important, important but not urgent, not urgent, not important. The nice thing about the Eisenhower quadrangle, this urgent, important, urgent, not important thing, is that it moves. Today, something may be urgent and important, but tomorrow it will not be so. Or something may be urgent, but not it may be important, but not urgent today. But by Friday, it will be urgent and important. So, using the same example, you want to be a finance guru, you have certifications. Maybe the certification, you even have a deadline. By May, I shall have written this paper. And now you're going for a networking thing with models. That is not your goal. If someone wanted to be a big modeling, say, what you call it, manager, managing 1,000 models a day in their portfolio, that is the right place to go and spend your time. But you want to be a finance guru with certain certifications. You want to achieve this certificate by May. Remember breaking it down. So by May, you should have written this, at least written it. So you need to learn. So that makes that thing important. The modeling is no longer important to your goal. The certification is more important to your goal than a networking modeling event. Now, is it urgent? We are in February. You are going to write it in May. Maybe I can, it's not urgent, because where I've learned up to, I can't go for a modeling event and probably look out for the finance people there and see what's up, or just I'm too stressed to even learn. So the modeling event would work. So suddenly that modeling, the learning for your certificate becomes important but not urgent. So you can schedule it, right? If it's urgent and important, you must do it now. No, the book is like this big, and I've only done this much, and May will come very soon, and there's things to do at work, and I have to travel, and I have to go into this family event. So no, the modeling now becomes urgent and important, so you do it now, right? Urgent and important, you do it now. Urgent but not important, you schedule A. Important but not urgent, you schedule it. What if it's very urgent, but it's not important? It must be done. So maybe you work with a team, and maybe it's the industry you work with. They're very big sponsors, so you have to be there. Then you delegate. If it's urgent but not important to your goal, you delegate. I'll give you an example. I like to call myself a newish mom because my child is just about a year old. And I'm not a young mom. So some of the work that people could do, I cannot do. So there are some things I schedule. My daughter needs to eat, and I have something I need to do. I give her to a family member. Sometimes I even ask my husband for help. Can you feed her for now so I can join this maybe webinar? Can you watch her so that she doesn't have to be giving me signs and symptoms whilst I'm talking? It's urgent, but to this goal today of joining the webinar, it's not important. So I delegate that. And if it's urgent and not important, tell yourself you do it one day, but just put it down. Let's list it. So first, list everything you need to do and start putting it in the quadrangle. That way, things will become clear. You want to do a side business. You want to do this. If you have a goal for month February, you can easily tell that this I must do it now. I have a goal to print certain cards for an event in March, but I also have a deliverable that I need to give someone a promo video on Val's Day. Val's Day is just this Tuesday. Which one will I do first? Now, today is Saturday. Obviously, it's the promo video because Val's Day is timed. It's now urgent and important. So just remember that it keeps changing, but just be on. I think that one of the key words that Mary brought up is honesty. Be honest with yourself, and then look at that quadrangle and say, today, this thing I know is very important, but today is not urgent, so I will schedule it for later. Or it's very urgent, but I cannot do it myself. You delegate. And that's one of the obstacles when it comes to goals. Look at what will come in your way and start asking for help in advance. How do I do some of these things? I ask for help. Sometimes even at work, I say this particular job is too much for me because I don't have enough time to spare after hours to complete it, So just do that quadrangle, and then you easily see something that you need to delegate. It doesn't mean you have direct reports. You may have family members, you have a father, a mother, someone, even a boss, and say, can you help me with this? That's the way of delegating. So yeah, prioritizing your goals is not funny. And sometimes it hurts. Everybody is going to buy that new dress, and you are still wearing that dress from 2021. But you have a goal to pay that school fees. That dress can wait. School fees, get your certificates, increase your salary. You can buy 5 of them. It can be painful, but when you have purpose, when it's that's why goals help. It helps you your decision making. You can easily prioritize. But if you don't have a goal, and I just want to do this, and you haven't broken them down like we said before, it's hard to even prioritize. You're like, I want to do it all. And then before you know it, you are around doing things that just won't help you achieve them. And that's how you end up at the end of the year not achieving your goals. That honesty wasn't there.
Yeah. Right. You said it when you've been brutally honest. So I'm sure that some of us are picking a lot of things from there. I think Mary said it earlier as well. Prioritize your finances. Must you get all the latest iPhones, blah blah blah, and all of that? It's important that we prioritize, so we get money to do what is important and urgent at the moment, and then we can do all the other things. Delayed gratification is not denial. You can still have that life you want at the end of the day. So we're just going to wrap up very quickly. Our time is fast spent. So I have been prompted. I have 5 minutes. So we say that, how do we measure success very quickly? Maybe Mary wants to take that, and then Ofosua can top up. How do we measure success?
I think we've kind of covered a lot of it. The one point I would add that we haven't spoken about is celebrate the milestones. Yeah.
Right.
Celebrate the milestones. Don't forget to celebrate. If I'm trying to do that certification, it's got 14 exams to do. If I pass exam 1, I celebrate. I pass exam 2, I celebrate. pass exam 3, I celebrate. So keep celebrating along the way. I think there was a question somewhere in the chat around how would you have failed if you don't achieve the goal? No, you learn and you can defer the goal to the next period. But if you've been celebrating along the way, then it's not so much of a disappointment to yourself that, oh, I wanted to have done all 14 exams by the end of the year. But if I got to 8 and I celebrated along the way, then that's fine. I can know if I got to 8, then I could get to the 14, I can defer it to the next year. Some people get extreme challenges that you can even defer it 2 years later. I mean, like the pandemic, when it came, no one expected it. Offices closed, people lost jobs. And that if that was your one source of income, then everything that was finance related, you had to like put it on a stop. But if you celebrated along the way, then you don't feel so bad. And then you can always pick it up later on in the process. Yeah.
Right, great. So I quickly want to remind our participants as we are wrapping up. Next month on the 18th of March 2023 at the same time 10 a.m. or 10 hours GMT, we'll be having our next mentoring session, and we'll be talking about personal branding. I think after setting your goal, you need to brand yourself and step out there. So you don't want to miss that. We're going to have some very awesome guests and the hosts to take us through that. So don't miss it for anything. Right. I don't know, maybe you want to just give us your last words. I have Sefa Dollar with the hands up. Can we take that? Can we take that? Or can we take that, please? Sefa, can you, yes, if you can ask very quickly, the last question.
What was the most, to both Ofosua and Miss Ofosua, my apologies, and Mary, I was wondering what the two of you find is the most important factor in achieving your goals. Because if you ask me, I don't think goal setting is really important. I think if I even want to go deep, I would say goal settings are impediments to action. But I want to find out though, when it comes to after you have set your goals, what's the one thing that really helps you to achieve them? Yes, thank you.
Okay, for me, I'll just go first and I'll give the 1 point. It's taking action towards that goal daily. Daily. Every day, ask yourself, what am I doing towards this? And yes, there are some theorists out there around who say goal setting is not important, but they have intentions. Yeah, you still have an intention. There's something you want to achieve during the year. Otherwise, then what's the purpose? What's the intention of your life? You just get up, go to work, come home, and that's it. Yeah. So if you have that intention,
that's another school of thought.
Yeah. But they always have like some kind of intentions. Some people say AI is too long to set goals for, so they set weekly. Like this week I'm going to do X, next week I'm going to do Y, the other week I'm going to do Z. They just make like only short-term goals. They don't make long-term ones. Yeah. Right. So there's so many theories out there, but choose one and take action every day. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mary. I think that will be about it for now. Thank you so much, ladies. And thank you, Mentor Cafe, for giving us this opportunity. This will be all for now. And I think we'll bring it to a close. So remember, 18th March 2023, personal branding, right here, same time, 10 a.m. Let's meet here and have fun while learning. Yes. Right. So that's it for now. Ciao. Now, do you want to say anything to us?
Thank you all for attending. We look forward to hosting you again next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right.